I'm going to discuss proxy design pattern in C#. So the proxy design pattern assists objects that control the creation of and access to other objects. That means, just for an example, let's say we have a class called subject. Now we want to control the access to this class, and also we want to control creation of objects from this class. In order to do that, we create another class. We have to create another class. Let's say the name of the class is Proxy. Now if we want to access this particular class, you have to do it through Proxy class. And if we want to create an object from this class, you have to do it through this class. Okay, actually that is the rough idea of proxy design pattern. Now I use a C# code to explain it. Okay, before that, I'm going to draw a UML diagram. That means, let's say in this particular code, we have a class called subject. Actually this is our class in which we have to control the creation of objects, and we have to control the access to it. Okay, this is the class. So now just for an example, let's say this class contains a method called getMessage, and the access modifier is public getMessage. Then return type is string. Now this is our class. In order to apply proxy design pattern, we need another class that is called proxy. This is the subject class, and now it contains a method called getMessage. Now we have another class called proxy. It has a reference variable to this class. Okay, therefore actually we use this class to access this one. Therefore we need to have a reference variable of type subject. Subject, and there we include a method request. Method name is request. Access modifier is public request, and its return type is void. Now we need an interface iTest. This is yes, then this is an interface, therefore we have to write here interface inside elements. iTest here we have to include the method signature, request, void, and this proxy class realizes this interface. Okay, so this is a rough UML diagram for the proxy design pattern. Now I will explain this code. So here we include our classes inside class A. Okay, so here now this subject class is private because we want to then since the access modifier is private, actually this class is accessible only within class A. Okay, so this is our interface. There we have included the signature of the request method, and we here we do not need to specify the access modifier, because in C# by default access modifier of the members in an interface is public. Now we move to here, public. Now proxy class is public. Okay, so subject, this subject class, the access modifier is private because we want to restrict access to this one. So outside the class A, this subject class is not accessible. Okay, that is why we have used private access modifier. And now we have another class, proxy. This one we have used the access modifier public. Therefore outside the class A we can access this proxy class. Now we are going to control subject class using our proxy class. Okay, now this code, you just look at this one. Now get message method or operation, it just return ABC is string. Okay, and here this is our proxy class. Now it realizes itest interface. This is the reference variable, and this is request method. We implement the request method here. Then here, if s variable is null, then you have to display three asterisk symbols, and then here we have to create an object from subject class and assign its memory location to s variable. After that, we use the console.writeLine, and then we invoke s.getMessage. s.getMessage means now the get message operation available in this particular object. That means this one. So this will return ABC. Okay, now this is our driver class, because we have included main method inside this class. Okay, program, the name of the class is program. Here we have included the main method. So we call this the driver class. Okay, the driver class. Now this driver class, actually we realize from class program, not realize, we inherit. Okay, we inherit from class A. Therefore, all the members of class A will be available to our class program. Okay, all the members will be available. Therefore, now let's see. Now, if you look at class program, this is our driver class. We inherit from class A. Okay, then here we include the code, and now if you look at the main method, actually the execution of our program begins inside the main method, and this is the very first line of code that gets executed. And now, even though we have inherited from class A, now all the members of the class A are available to our class program. However, this one is also available to our program class. This one is also available, this one, everything inside the class A are available to class program. However, within the class program, we cannot access subject class because it is private. It is accessible only within class A. Therefore, in order to access subject class, now subject class, if you consider the subject class, this is inside class A, and we, to the program class, we inherited from A. Since this is private, we cannot access this class within program A class. Okay, therefore we have to use proxy class in order to access this one. That is why, as the first line of code, test, we create a reference variable of type test t. Now you know that the proxy class realizes test interface. Therefore, if we create a reference variable of type t, then we to this t variable we can assign memory location of an object of type proxy class. Okay, therefore now when we execute this particular line of code, an object of type proxy class will be created, and its memory location will be stored in t variable. Now let's go to our proxy class. There, now you know, variable s variable, when we invoke it like this, we are using the default constructor of proxy class. Therefore, for the fields of the proxy class, default values will be assigned. Now, S variable is null. S field is null. Okay, now here this is our object created from proxy class. Okay, then we invoke request method, request operation available in this object. Then t dot request. Then what happens when we invoke this? What will happen? Then t dot request means request operation in this object. Now let's see. It checks the condition S is null. Yes, the condition is true. Therefore, these two lines of code will be executed. First, it will display 3 asterisk symbols. After that, it creates an object from subject class. That means object from subject class. Now let's look at the subject class. There we do not have any attributes. I just sketch it like this. Okay. Now to S variable, S field in this object, the memory location of newly created object will be assigned. Therefore, I simply draw it like this. Now, S stores the memory location of this object. Okay, S stores the memory location of this object. Then after that, it invokes this particular line of code, S dot get message, S, then get message method in this object. That means this one, it displays A, B, C. Okay, so at the end of the code, I have actually given the output. Now you can see 3 asterisk symbols, then A, B, C, 3 asterisk symbols. Okay. Then A, B, C. Now let's see. We execute this particular line of code. Then you will see 3 minus symbols, and then again we try to invoke request method. Again, what happens when we try to invoke t dot request? Okay, again we try to invoke t dot request. T dot request is request method is invoked for the second time. Then request method of this particular object, t dot request means request operation in this object. Okay, then let's see. Now here it checks the condition S is null. S is not null here because it stores the memory location of this particular object. Therefore, this condition is false. This condition is false. Therefore, these two lines are not executed, and then it comes to this line of code. Okay, then it invokes s dot get message. That means the get message operation available in this object. Get message means here, now we can see it returns ABC. Therefore, this will display A, B, C. Okay. Likewise, we can see the output. Now here I have shown the output like this: 3 asterisk symbols, A, B, C, 3 minus symbols, then again A, B, C. Likewise, actually this is just an example for proxy design pattern. What you have to understand here is, now this subject class was private inside class A, therefore it is not accessible outside the class. So in order to access it, we used proxy class. Proxy class was public. Okay, so in that way actually we controlled the creation of objects from subject class, and also we controlled the access to the subject class. Okay, that is how we have done that. And then we can see when we invoke t.request, that means request method of our proxy object for the first time, when we do it for the first time, then S was null, then an object from subject class was created. When we try to execute the same method for the second time, now S is no longer null, therefore we do not have to create another object from the subject class. Instead we use the already created object. Okay, actually this is just an example for proxy design pattern. Okay, and hope you understood the logic, and this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.